What's up guys, CJ Champion here, and today we're going to cover a really awesome dunk contest that happened over in Shanghai, China, and it's got some heavy hitters because I'm talking Jordan Kilganon, Isaiah Rivera, Jay Clark the Jumper, Dan Gross, and some of the best Chinese dunkers that you've never heard of. Now these guys are actually really awesome. It's insane. This happened during the XBA All-Star Weekend. I don't know if that is their All-Star Weekend for whatever league they have in China or the biggest league that they have in China, but it looked like it was a big event. This live stream that I'm going to be ripping, I believe it had like well over like 5 million viewers or something like that. So I'm going to be ripping that live stream. You're going to see my face over in the corner, and what we're going to do with each and every dunk, we're actually going to score these dunks using the World Dunk Association judging. Now, how does that work? If you don't know how it works, link is going to be in the description. I have a video explaining how all that works, and we're going to just get right into it. So let's do it. Let's have some fun with it. I'm going to be showing you this screen, and then I'm going to be showing you, this is the contest screen. I have numbers in here already. Ignore that. That was my first run through of this video, which took like 2 hours. It's a big contest. It's a big contest. I'm doing another run through because I want to make the judging a little bit more consistent. I thought I was a little bit inconsistent. It's still something I'm getting used to. And it's not easy because these guys they're dunking to please judges. So they're not dunking obviously to have a high scoring system with this system. It's to please the judges. That's how you win the contest, is pleasing the judges. And what do the judges know? They know basketball. Some of them know basketball. He's won a dunk contest. I remember it was what, 1993, I think they said. But what do they know about the actual mechanics of dunking and what these tricks are? Today's pros in the NBA, even they don't fully know, and it's hard. How are you gonna judge the difference between a scorpion and the difference between a inverter, for example? Like, how do you put a number to that? So they're not gonna know. So basically what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of push-offs. That's what gets people excited. That's what's gonna score really well. Push-offs, of course. That's how it's been for a long time. But we're gonna get right into it. We're gonna start number 4. Here we go. He is clearing 2 guys. This was second try. For our standards, this would be first try. He clears 2 guys. Jay Clark at 6'3" and this guy who's at 5'8". And he is doing kind of like a reverse one hand, like a 180 almost. So my issue before with this was, you know what? Let's fast forward to a replay. Scoring the complexity was really hard, figuring this out here. But let's look at this. Look at this. Solid push. I can't tell how high he jumped. We got the legs coming up, and you would think it's a 2-hand reverse, like a double up X, but then he swings around with the 1-hand finish and destroys it. He actually punches it. So I like that. Here's a good one for the height. So let's say he's 6'1". That is his height right there. I would count that as probably a 3.5 without a push. So we're gonna dock a lot of points. I mean, I dock 3 points for a push like that. So it's gonna be a 1 on the flight, okay? Style, you know what? Because he was able to kind of twist his body around and finish in that way instead of a double up X, there's not too much you can do with the style when you're doing a push-off, but I actually thought it looked good the way he was kind of like sideways with the finish. So I'm actually gonna bump up what I previously put, and I'm gonna put a 3. I thought that was actually pretty sick. And the finish was a 5. It was punchy, it was really precise. Yeah, that was pretty much it. It was punchy enough and precise enough. I thought he destroyed it. Now, something that also makes a difference is just hearing the dunk too. And that would help with the scores. And maybe it wasn't even that loud, I don't know. I think that's gonna be a 5 for the finish. So we have our first 5 already on the first dunk. Complexity, now let's get into the complexity as quick as I can. The ball was held still. Okay. The in-air movements, I'm gonna count this as a pump. I'm not gonna get into it, but I'm gonna count this as a pump. I know
after the push, the ball's already down there. So he's not bringing the ball down, the ball's already down there, and then he just comes up and finishes with one hand. You could count that as like just a one-hander almost, or just like a direct transfer from 2 to 1 and finish with a one-hander. That could be like a one-hander. But the issue with that is that's gonna be the same for the push-off scorpion. That's gonna be the same for double up X with two-hand finish. That's gonna be the same for windmills. For windmills, it's the same, because when you're pushing off, you're down here, then you're just bringing it over to the side and coming up and finishing. It's like a one-hander. I'm gonna add the pump. I'm gonna be generous with all push-offs in this sense for complexity. He gets the pump. He does get the pump bonus. Now, I did this without giving these bonuses, and the system was kind of ruined, and it turned out they just scored really low. They scored super, super low, and they should score low, but for complexity, in some cases it wasn't fair, some cases it was fair. So here, this is what I'm doing. I'm being generous with the push-offs. He's getting a pump bonus, which is 12 points for the complexity. And I don't count the person he pushed off over, but he did have one other person there in front of them. So I am giving an obstacle bonus. Now, I know it's like, what's the difference? If he wasn't there, the dunk would still look the same. Yeah, that's true. I'm gonna add an obstacle bonus. It is gonna get a total of 14.4 for complexity. And if you hear something, that is my cat down there. She is trying to get my attention. So complexity now is gonna be 14.4. It was first try. And that gives him a total score of 50.4. That's actually a really big score. It's a big score. Yeah, that's how it is. That's how we're gonna score it. And we're gonna move on to the next dunker. We have another setup right under the rim. That's when you know it's gonna be a crab or a scorpion. He is a standard jumper, number 10. Number 10 is a standard jumper, meaning, again, I think he is right, left, right-handed, okay? And we can expect a crab coming here. Now the question is, does he make it look good? Is it gonna be first try? Let's find out. There it is. It was good. That right there is a crab. It's not a scorpion, it's a crab. That is a crab. It's funny because I'm not gonna talk about the judges too much, but in this case, the judges, I know the guy in the middle gave a lower score because he said, well, that was the same dunk as the first dunk, but he didn't jump over 2 people. He only jumped over 1 person, so I gave a lower score. So that lets you understand, like, most people aren't gonna pick up on so many things. This contest, there's so many dunks happening at once. They're not gonna know the difference between, I guess, apparently a crab and almost like a one-hand kind of scoop pump. They're not gonna know the difference. I think everything stays the same for what I put here. Flight's gonna be 1, 2.5 on the style. It's not as good as a normal scorpion style-wise, but he doesn't look, which is pretty cool. It's good. He does a good job not looking. Positions, it's pretty good actually. It looks pretty good. Everything, when it comes to push-offs, everything from here to here looks really ugly. And then once you're at this position, then things start to look pretty cool. Not too much rotation here. It's pretty straight. He stays pretty straight and squared. I'm gonna actually give him a 3 for the style here. So we're gonna bump that up to a 3. Finish was really good. It was precise, right down the middle, and almost punchy. Almost punchy. The hard part here is the complexity. So when we do a scorpion, under the complexity, we add a windmill to it because you're bringing it underneath your hip and then you're bringing it up. In this case, the ball is at his hip and then he just brings it straight up. So I don't know if we want to give him the windmill bonus, the added windmill bonus. And that's the hard part. That's the hard part with these push-offs. Because, like, again, it's just from here. It's down here from the push, and then he just brings it up here. And that's all it is. It's not him pumping and then bringing the ball down and then coming back up. So I said I was gonna be generous this time around. We're not having an obstacle bonus. To do the right crab or scorpion, it's gonna be you add a windmill to a crab finish. and it's 19. 19 points for the complexity. So we're looking here. The score is 47 for that dunk. The first dunk got a 50.4. This dunk was a little bit more complex. That's what it comes out to. So that's where we're at. That's it. Not bad. Okay, not bad. Moving forward. Chen is a monster. My goodness, this guy, he's 38 years old. I want to do this at 29 years old. This is East Bay over 4 people. Did you see where he took off from? He destroyed it, punched it. This guy is so mind-blowing to me. So if you don't follow him on Instagram, you should. I think it's like Dunk Chen, I think his name is. Oh, look at the takeoff. He's so far out. That's ridiculous. Now I know, yeah, there's a push-off here, okay? Oh my gosh. That's wild. All right, if he's 5'8", I think this height might be a 4. It might be a 4.5. It might be a 4.5. So that being said, his flight here with the push is going to be 1.5. Style, I gave a 3. Standard looking between the legs, just he has to keep his legs spread a little bit longer. Style, I'm going to give it 3. I'm going to give it 3. And then the finish obviously was punch. Super precise here. Let me look at, I don't know if it tipped the front rim at all, but that was solid. It wasn't like perfectly downward trajectory. It's fine. So let's come back over here. Finish with a 4. Gave finish a 4. So with that, complexity really quick as well. Why did I give it a 24? Okay, the complexity, the ball was held still. He went between the legs. That's 20 points. And then the obstacle finish because he jumped over however many people. So with that, that is a 24. And then that gives him a total of, we're over here, a total of 58. So that's the highest scored dunk so far. All right, let's move on to Jay Clark. Okay, we have Isaiah is setting up a lob. And we know Jay Clark is gonna do what we call, for the complexity, we're gonna call this moving gymnastics, but it is a run up into a, I think, a round off back handspring, and the lob has to be perfect. His positioning on the back handspring and the landing has to be perfect. Everything has to be perfect here and has to line up so well. And you have to rely on Isaiah as well. Isaiah's a good passer. In the middle of a contest, I don't know. He's got, there's a lot of variables that make somebody good at passing. Isaiah could be overly excited. I know Isaiah wants Jay Clark to hit this, right? So he's trying his best, but it's not gonna be perfect. It's tough to do. This is a tough one. How do you rate this? Because does all the gymnastics stuff add to the dunk? And typically we would say no, but we added something into our complexity system because of Jay Clark. So we do have something here. You do get a bonus. There is a bonus for doing this. Just some sort of moving gymnastics bonus. Unfortunately, he missed. He couldn't complete the dunk. We're not gonna rate the complexity. I believe he does get one more try. Shirt comes off, but it doesn't go through. I've watched this one other time, so I kind of remember what's happening, but doesn't get it. We're gonna go and still score. It ended up being a 10.2 on the complexity. Flight is a 1, style is a 1 because I'm only ranking him jumping and then catching the ball and going in. How do I rank the back handspring or the round off? I'm not looking at it like, I'm not a gymnast judge, so I don't think that part should be judged as well. So his total is a 2. So we're only looking at flight and style when we have a missed dunk. It's just a 2. So that's what it comes out to. with this system, don't miss your dunks. Don't miss your dunks. Dan the man, he is up. Coming in, starting with an off, a lob. What do we got? What do we got, Dan? Lob. Nobody's done any lobs yet. Everything's been very in hand, except for Jay Clark with the 360 scoop and the nasty back rim. The ball got sent out, so that might have had a little bit of power behind it. Ooh, I wonder how the floor was here. The floor makes such a difference. There's so many variables when it comes to lobs. In a contest, oh, front of the rim. Front of the rim, that's a good miss. If it was centered, that's a good front rim miss. He put the ball basically on top of the rim, and then maybe the rim was stiff and it just didn't want to be pushed through. We're still sticking with it, still sticking with the lob. He's almost out of time, looks like he has 6 seconds left. Trying to get that right placement. Oh, couldn't get the finish right there. So time runs out, he gets one more try. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. So he's taking his time now. Wipe the shoes. Get a good lob. Get a good lob. It's a bit short. Lobs are tough in contests. You're using a different ball than you're used to. You're in a different gym. Environment is all different. There's way too many variables. And the pros know that. The pros understand that. Like Dan could have done a handoff here and it would be perfect. Yeah, he has to get a different ball. But I don't know how much Dan practices handoffs. He might not have that many people to help him out when he's practicing at home, for example. But he's used to doing it off a lob and he just couldn't get it to convert. He gets the ball stuck there. So we're looking at flight and style. Let's come over here. Dan, not looking at complexity. His 360 scoops are nice. He was like angled like this. We have some leg kicks. I liked it a lot. Style's gonna be 4. Flight was a 3. We didn't get any angles to see how high he really jumped, so I'm putting it at a 3. From what I saw with the bad angles that we had, that puts him at a total score of 7 right here. Up next, we have Jordan. Let's fast forward. Jordan Kilganon has brought his own ball. He has his brother holding the ball, Grant. And yeah, it's a handoff. It's a handoff. So he got rid of a lot of variables just by bringing his own ball 1 and handoff 2. And even his brother, he knows his brother knows how to hold this ball in place perfectly. And the nasty back rim. Full rotation, nasty back rim. I think a rare miss for Jordan to miss a scoop like that. Look how high he has the handoff. That's interesting. I'm not good at 360 scoops. I've only done a handful in my life. But when I do handoffs, it's never that high. But also Jordan jumps nearly 50 inches, so, you know. Here we go. Ooh, a very rare slip out the hand. And look, he's very like, ooh, what was that? Let me see. He's thinking. Yeah, the little, like, I don't even know. That is an anomaly, I want to say. That is a very rare thing to happen, and I'm not too sure. Oh, the front of the rim, his positioning was a little off. This is weird. And he must be thinking this too, like, what? I don't understand why it's off, because he practices this so much, does this so much, and crushes it so much. I don't know the reasoning for him being slightly off. Anomaly at that point. So it looks like we're having a change up. The buzzer went off, and maybe because he doesn't know why things are off and weird, he's gonna go with something safe. So we're gonna have a push off. Grant looks like he could be 6'3" or 6'2". Grant could be 6'3". I don't know how tall Grant is, but let's fast forward a little bit. With the positioning here, I'm trying to remember what he did. I would be thinking it was a windmill, but he's quite close to the rim, so see what we got. Run up. Safe dunk. Safe dunk, and he goes for, I think that was risky. For him, maybe it wasn't. Let's take it. Can you look at his bicep? So I think he overjumped, right? He jumped too high for this dunk, and he nailed bicep first. There's a dent in his bicep, and that has to be very, very, very painful. Also, great way. Typically when you're under pressure and it's the final dunk and you're trying to, it's gonna end in a mess up. Most of the time it does. This case, he switched up, he made the right call, and then he pulled that out somehow. Not somehow, he knows how to do that. He's Jordan Kilganon, of course he can do that. Windmill elbow, nasty height. Oh. Okay. Height would have been a 4.5. So we're gonna take 3 points off. It's a 1.5. It's a 1.5 on the height. Style was a 3.5. We have the little finish too. I thought that was really cool. And look how punchy that was. You don't typically have punchy elbow dunks unless you're Doug Anderson, but super clean, super precise. Look at that. Yeah, didn't squeeze it in, just straight through the rim. 3 on the finish, 3.5 on the style. Complexity, let's get into the complexity really quick. Ball was held still. We have an elbow finish, 6 points. Windmill, 16 points. And we come down, he hung, hanging finish is a big multiplier of 1.3. 28.6, huge. Big for complexity, 28.6. So here it is here. Jordan has a score of 55.6. Actually not better than Chen's East Bay over like a billion people. So interesting. But I should also mention third try. That's actually big. Third try, he got 5 points deducted. So it could have been the best dunk of the contest, but it was third try. That makes sense. All right, let's move forward. We have Isaiah up next. Okay, a lot of discussions. Isaiah is looking for the biggest dude he could find in this entire crowd. This guy is 7 foot. He's a big guy. Looks like we're gonna set up for a double up X is my guess. And if you can imagine, at least for me, I'm not Isaiah. I don't jump 50 inches. For me, when I have set up somebody that was 7 foot, I put the ball on their neck. Isaiah's putting it on the top of his head. Do you see the height difference? That is a mass. And look, he's getting the crowd. You gotta get the crowd. You know, Isaiah, you gotta look at the judges. You gotta get in front and square up with the judges and be like, hey judges, look at how tall he is compared to me. It's not about the crowd here if you're trying to get the dub. All right, quick run up right into it and double up X. Clean. The big guy was like, wow, did that just happen? Oh, he's so happy, look at that. Look at that. Jake Clark is happy. Jake Clark is getting him hyped. And tens. Doesn't matter what they say. Can we get a better angle now? Okay, all right. Look at this. He could have gotten a bigger boost. With this push, the ball gets pushed out forward. Right there, you're losing some boost. Isaiah's neck could be over the rim if he wanted to, but maybe he was being generous on the push and he wasn't trying to obliterate this guy. But we are like still like forehead maybe at rim-ish. So I'm gonna say flight is 1.5. Let's come over here. Isaiah, flight 1.5. I gave him a 2.5 for the style. I think for reverse pump, it's hard to get style bonuses here when you're doing a push off with reverse pump, so I'm giving it a 2.5. It can look cool. I've seen ones that look cool. I think I do them kind of cool. And then really quickly, take a look at the finish, straight down the rim. Super precise. It wasn't the most powerful of finishes, so I'm actually gonna give him, let's look at it in full motion. Let's look at it in full motion on the finish here. That was just precise. It was just very precise. So 2.5 I think is fine. And now something that changes with the complexity here. It's all the same stuff. Instead of a windmill, we have the pump, and we also have a reverse finish. So that's 14 points. So not bad. 14 points. This goes from 9 to 14. And that was first try. So he gets a total score of 40 points. Moving forward. All right, number 1. This guy is 5'8". Coming in with a lob like Dan, same place too. But maybe instead of a 360 scoop, what do we got? He goes in East Bay's. At 5'8" in a contest to East Bay off a lob, I think is awesome. I think that is awesome. He's gonna stand in front of the judges to see what the scores are. I think that is sick. Look at that. Look at that. He front rimmed the finish. But come on, at 5'8", I think that's so sick. You don't see a lot of guys at 5'8" doing a lob East Bay in contests. That's awesome, man. I like his style. Look how straight that left leg is. And then he's gonna swing his legs back over for the finish right there. And then the finish was front of the rim. So, lob East Bay, 4 on the flight, 4 on the style, 1.5 on the finish. And why did he get 21 for complexity? Well, under the leg, East Bay is 20 points. And then, where is it? Self lob is 1 point. So 21 points for the complexity. In the end, he gets a score of 59. 59, that's the highest scored dunk so far. He's the only completed dunk that was not a push-off. Now, Jordan Kilganon could have probably taken it if he hit that 360 scoop. But no, he switched over. And first try. Awesome, 59, awesome dunk, love that. Okay, after the first round, if we look at the score, best dunk, East Bay, lob East Bay from number 1. Chen with the East Bay over 10 million people at 58. And then Jordan with the windmill elbow stuck, 55.6. These are close. And then number 4, he had the push off over what, 3 people, and then he finished one hand. And then 10, he did the, I have to remember what he did. What did 10 do? He got a 19 for the complexity. It was the crab. Wow, the crab did not score very well, 47. And then Isaiah, crazy, right? Isaiah, because of not having the obstacle bonus, doesn't get that much of a score for complexity. And he jumped over somebody 7 feet. He pushed off over someone that's 7 feet. So something should be changed, I think. I think it should be my scoring, but somebody who does a double up X over 2 people might score higher than Isaiah doing a double up X over somebody that's 7 foot. And the guy that jumped over 2 people, maybe they're both 6 foot or like 5'5", that would score higher. So something probably should be changed there. I don't think that's a dunk Isaiah would ever do in a contest where we are looking at this scoring system. This is just to get, his reasoning for doing that dunk is to get the crowd involved. But yeah, Isaiah scored 40 and then 7 and 2 for Jay Clark and Dan because they missed their dunks. So that is the first round. Let's go into the second round. All right, number 4, we are setting up. There's the push off over 1, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 people. He is watching the trend of the judges loving having people just being there, obstacles. So why not add another person from his last dunk? Why not add another person that must get higher scores? And I think he is thinking right, and this is how it's gonna go. Look at that, the toe taps, breathe, shoulders, more toe taps. I like the toe tap thing there. That's interesting on top of the other. I don't know why he does that, I'm curious. Maybe he's got grip on the top of his shoe. Oh, not a correct push there. He could have blown through his approach, but I think for this dunk, you kind of have to blow through a little bit. A lot of horizontal momentum, and then rely on the push to take you up. Don't try that at home. Okay, toe taps, love the toe taps. That is so interesting. I wonder why he does that. Maybe that's just a thing to get in rhythm. Here we go. Good push, good finish. Two hand, double up X over a lot of people. Double up X over a lot of people. I'm gonna really quickly, let's get right into it. Score is 1 for the flight, 2.5 for the style, 1.5 for the finish. Let's look at the finish again. I don't know why I gave that a 1.5. Let's see a replay. I don't think it was a 1.5. That was a good finish. It had a good amount of downward. Yeah, it was like very precise. Straight down. It front rimmed a little bit. I see. So it could have been way better. It like caught the front of the rim just a little bit on the inside of the rim. I see. I'm gonna give it a 2.5 on the finish. And then let's now fix his complexity score. So we're giving him the pump. We're giving him the pump, and we're giving him a finish of a reverse. It was a reverse finish, and no self-lob. It was held still, and we also have an obstacle because he jumped over a million people. So 16.8. Gives him a total score of 40. First dunk gets a 40.8. Now this is interesting. We have a ladder. We have 2 basketballs, and number 10, I like he's really trying to add variety here. So he started with the crab, and now we're starting with like an Armageddon type dunk. The ball is right in front of the rim. My thoughts with this, for example, if he were to East Bay, if you were to do the Armageddon, the finish of this dunk, it's almost the same thing as trying to do a finish with 2 hands on an East Bay. It's harder, but this is very similar because you're bringing your arm up like you're going to finish the ball with 2 hands. In this case, you have to try and dunk the balls at different times. So you have to get one ball in and then the next one. It's interesting. Windmill double dunk. Scream into the camera, let's go. First try, let's go, come on. That's cool. I think it's cool. I do think it's cool. I think it's cool. What I don't think is cool is how the heck am I supposed to score that? What am I doing for the finish? He finished twice. One was a good finish, one wasn't a good finish. Am I taking like an average of both finishes maybe? Complexity, there's 2 dunks happening. So do I give him scores for 2 dunks? Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna look at the flight. Decent push, head is pretty high. If he is around 6 foot, then that's like a 4.5, maybe a 4, maybe a 4. So his flight is gonna be 1. His style, I don't know for style. It's windmilly, it's a bit stiff. The legs are a bit stiff, the body's, but like he's doing 2 things with his hands here. There's nothing too big to note with the style, so I'm fine with keeping it a 2. And the finish, I think the first dunk, the first one-hander, the initial one was good, and you could see the second one was bouncing in and out, it was rattling in and out. So let's say the first one was a 3 on the finish, boom, 3. That's more of like a 2.5, I want to say, and then this one is like a 1 almost. So between those, it would be a 2 on the finish. So I gave him a 2. Now, complexity is hard. What we're gonna do is we're gonna give him the windmill. We're giving him the windmill, and then he's gonna come up and finish with one hand. So we're adding the one arm here, okay? And that's it. That's all it's gonna be, 19. Is there anything else I could add? Simultaneous? I don't know what that means, to be honest. Justin will have to tell me. None of these multipliers, I think, work. So we're gonna give him a 19. Boost it up a little bit from what I previously said. So total score of 39. If he could complete the finishes a little bit better, if his style looked better, then it would be higher. It is gimmicky a little bit because the ball is like nearly in the rim, but yeah, it takes some skill to be able to do that. It was first try, it's 39. It got beat by the double up X over a bunch of people because the double up X over a bunch of people was executed pretty well. And I think other people would score that differently. I do think so. But that's what I'm gonna have for now. That's what I'm gonna say. We're gonna move forward. Chen is up. He said like what? The billion people I e-spayed over last time, that wasn't enough. Let me add another human. So we have the same run up. It looks like he's coming from the same thing. Oh, that's interesting. The ball says Dunk King. If he calls himself Dunk King, that's kind of cool. That is pretty cool. Notice how he just took off sweats? That's something I do. I usually wear a jacket in between jump attempts to stay warm. Huge run up for 2 foot, and oh my gosh, he destroys it. He destroys it. He takes off a mile away, destroys it. So we have a windmill. We have push off windmill over the whole city. 1.5 flight, 2.5 style, and finish was a 4 because he destroyed it. Now I have to switch up his complexity. Let's look at it real quick. I'm giving him a 3 for this style. I liked it. The finish looked cool. He looks explosive. He's moving explosive. He flew. Yeah, he lands like, yeah. Not too much expression, but we're gonna give him a 3 for the style. All right, we have a windmill going on. We have an obstacle, the whole city, and then that's it, 19.2. 19.2, so the obstacle 1.2 multiplier, the windmill is 16 points, total of 19.2, 53.2. That is the best dunk of this round. We're just gonna move forward. We're just gonna move forward. That dunk was nasty. Jay Clark getting people. See that motion? That hand? You know it's the wall. Moving his arms out. It's the wall. He's saying please because they're all warming up in the back, and he's stopping them from warming up. I always tell guys I'd prefer if I wasn't used, because I like to stay as warm as possible and I don't stop moving and I don't want to stand still for even 30 seconds. So I always say like, I don't want to, but if you really need me to, I'll do it. All right, Jonathan's wall. Gonna move forward. Okay, here it is. Oh, the back rim. The back rim. Okay, this is second try. Isaiah's asking, what do you need? Jay Clark coming in. Banger. What a finish. And the backflip. No extra points for the backflip. Still cool. Probably extra points for the judges. They probably see it and be like, I'll give him a 10 for that. Backflip, I should give him a 10. Wow, we got some 9s. There's more 9s. Doesn't matter. What they say doesn't matter. Let's not look into it. Let's not. That's another video. The splits. The splits. Look at this position we have here. That's cool, man. Jay Clark, that's cool. I gave him a 4 for the style. I think that's cool. I'm giving him a 5 for the style. Finish, I think, is better than a 3 as well. Let's see. Oh, he destroyed it. Finish is a 4. Finish is a 4. For a reverse finish, like, it's so hard to get anything spectacular out of it, to put a lot of power behind it. And he was moving away from the rim too. So to finish like he did was really impressive, and the flight's gonna be a 1. How are we gonna score? How are we gonna do complexity with Jay Clark's wall? Jonathan's wall, sorry. It's gonna be still. He is doing a pump, okay? And he is finishing reverse. I think that's all I can give him. The legs being super straight. Oh, obstacle, yeah. He is covering, jumping over more people because his legs are coming out. So 16.8 is gonna be the complexity. And how many people can actually do that? I don't really know. You need flexibility to be able to do that dunk. I think if I were to try it when I was healthy, I think I would tear something. So the potential for a muscle tear, does that add to complexity for a dunk? I don't know, maybe that should be discussed more. And honestly, I would love his take on that, because I'm sure he's not gonna be happy with hearing his dunk is a 16.8 on the complexity. So that's maybe something that could be changed. I'm not too sure. If he did it without a push off, I don't know. The flight would be probably maxed, because obstacles I think will affect flight. I think style definitely should be maxed. Finish will be tough. I don't know. If it wasn't a push off, I don't know how to. Justin will have to help me score that one. But that will be a discussion, I think, for another time. But Jay Clark's score is a 54.8 because it was also second try. He gets a 2-point deduction. Huge score. Best score for this round. Moving forward, who's next? Dan. He looks like he's in the same spot. He looks like he's gonna be doing another lob potentially. Dan, he needs a lot to make up for his first miss. We're still getting used to the lobs. I hope he's using the same ball. There's a lot of basketballs there. Maybe he lost track of the one he wanted to use. And, 360 pump. Looked like the lob was a little bit too close to the rim, closer than he wanted, but he still made it work. I wonder how he's feeling right now. I'm curious as to why he didn't. I know he's not big on push-offs either, but everybody's pushing off. Everyone's getting huge scores for it. He got an 8. This guy gave him an 8. For a made dunk, I think that's the lowest score. Yeah, Dan, I think he would have just had to like read the room a little bit. Like, this dunk does well. I think anywhere else. I think like in the gym or just at dunk camp or anywhere else, I think this is well. But after all these push-offs that we just saw, I wonder how he's feeling. Yeah, it's a good 360 pump. It's a great 360 pump. Let's look at the height. Okay, jump height. We've seen Dan can jump higher than that. So let's come over. And Dan, you get a 3 for the flight, 3 for the style, and 3 for the finish. We got some interesting motions going on here. He caught it, you can't see, but he caught it like way out to his right. And then he had to bring it down. I'm trying to think, yeah, maybe he could have brought it lower. Maybe the legs could have done something different or been a little bit more extra. The finish is a perfect 3, I would say. Yeah, okay, I'm okay with those scores. 3, almost 3s all around. Or is it 3s all around? It is 3s all around. And then if you want to look at the the complexity. So he did a self lob. Finish was one hand, and he did a pump. And then he also was spinning. So to see what we score for the spins, we have to come back. Let's look at the replay. This is a good replay right here. So where his feet are, they're pointing that way. And then we go look at his chest on the finish. and it's pointing that way. So it's a perfect 180. And that's how we score the spin multipliers. So 14.3. Is there anything else I can add to that? It's solid. It is solid. Now, yeah, okay. I was thinking of something else. 14.3 is its complexity. Giving him a total score of 50.3. So that gets 50.3. That's a high score for this round right here. That does well. That does well. Push-offs don't do that well. Even when I'm being generous with the scoring here. Let's move forward. We have Jordan Kilganon setting up a Tetris. He is setting up a Tetris. He's got two, this is maybe like now, if he was standing fully straight, maybe he's like 7'5". 7 foot. Between 7 foot and 7'5". He's patched up, arm is hurting. I'm very curious. His elbow probably is, or his bicep is nasty and probably looks disgusting, super dense, and then he's going for a risky dunk like a Tetris. So this is interesting. As he's setting this up, I'm not giving him an obstacle bonus. The first person that you jump over, I don't think should be an obstacle if you are doing a push. If he wasn't pushing, then yes, this would be an obstacle. So this is something that's maybe a flaw in the system at the moment. Other people are, oh, look at that. Tries to get the crowd hype and he feels his bicep, it's hurting. He's not gonna get a full 100% effort jump if he felt that. I think if you pay attention to this right arm, it's not gonna swing back as hard as he wants. Woo, what a catch. What a catch. He's checking if he's okay. Oh, and he wants a rerun. That is amazing. That is amazing. He punched this dunk, look. He punched it. He punched the dunk. Anybody who does Tetrises, and a lot of times it doesn't look that bad, but a lot of times it looks pretty bad because you're just pushing, and a lot of times it's a kid that you're pushing too. Doesn't look good. You finish the dunk, you land, and you celebrate. Like, yeah, I did it, and the person might have fell, and then the dunkers will still celebrate. In this case, Jordan didn't celebrate. He checked on it. He caught the guy, checked on him, make sure he was good, and then he said, let's go again. And these two guys are like, yeah, okay. They're willing to go again. I'm surprised, but it makes sense. Jordan is a perfectionist. It's cool that he is going at it again, and he probably wants to make it better, jump a bit higher, and not have the people fall. And he corrects it. That is cool. I don't think that's ever happened before. Ow, his bicep. He made it. It wasn't as punchy of a finish, and because he redid it, I think he retains high scores here from these judges specifically. I think he retains the high scores. Wow, nobody's done that before for an ugly like Tetris. Did it once, was ugly, it was like, nah, let me do it right. What a finish. Style was cool too on the finish there. All right, didn't maximize his jump there with the push, but Jordan, you get a 1 for the flight, 2.5 for the style. Style was not bad. I give him a 3. And the finish was 1.5, kind of rattled. I think he front rimmed it. Let's take another look. Yeah, he rattled it in. So 1.5. And we have a pump for complexity. The pump is 12 points. And then that's gonna be it. Held still. It's just a pump. I don't know what else to add just because he's taller, he's higher up. I don't know if you add an obstacle because there's two guys on top of each other. Yeah, it's different than jumping over someone that's 7 feet. It's just not as, for the push, it's not gonna be as stable. So it forces you maybe not to push super hard. So technically, yeah, it is a bit harder, but you're getting a boost in both cases. So we're gonna leave that as is, and that's gonna be a 12. For the complexity, giving Jordan's score a 32. Wow, 32 is a low score for a double up X Tetris. Wow, that is a low score, very interesting. Did I miss anything? No, wow. This was second try, so he missed out on 2 points. Comparing it to Isaiah, oh, I'm sorry, okay. Reverse, we add a reverse, I forgot that. He finished reverse, so that is 14 points. Let's go back to that. 14 points, Jordan Kilganon with a total score of 34. There it is. Moving on, we have 2 more dunks. Isaiah's getting the crowd hype. He is smiling. It looks like he's having a good time. And he's going off the dribble. What do we got? What we got, Zay? Boom. First try, 360 East Bay. He's hype. Jay Clark is hype. All right. We don't have a push off. How are the judges gonna score that? Probably not as good. Oh, we got 9s and 10s. Okay, that's pretty good scores. Pretty good scores. Not that it matters. Let's move on to our scores, okay? Isaiah. I want to pay attention to... Come on, that's sick, yeah. Anything, when you open up, if you're a goofy dunker, goofy footed, meaning Isaiah's left, right-handed, spin dunks are so awesome. I think they're so cool. I gave Isaiah a style of 4, 3 on the flight, 2 on the finish. Why are we doing 2 on the finish? Because he front rimmed a little bit and then pushed it through, pushed it hard. It's a little, he caught the front rim just a little bit. I would say it's a 2.5. That's better than getting caught in the front rim. That's a 2.5. And he was hyped. He was hyped for that. So let's, Jared Roth and him, they're looking at, Jared Roth. Huh. I wonder what he's doing there. I wonder why he's not dunking. I wonder if he was supposed to dunk, but he's there. He's filming. Interesting. Jared Roth. Cool. Very cool. So we have a run up off the dribble, and we are doing a between the legs, and then we're spinning. Let's take a look at the spin. What we're looking at with the spin, his feet. We're pointing that way, okay? And where is his chest pointing on the finish? Oh boy. It's tough. It's a little bit past 180. I want to be generous. I'm gonna give him a 270-degree turn. Is that too generous? It might be. But for complexity-wise, there you go. That 360 East Bay will give you a 24. Giving Isaiah a total score of 62, the highest scored dunk of this round. Moving forward, okay. Number 1 is the final dunk of the first round. He is bringing in the whole city again. That's a lot of people. And Grant, he's jumping over Grant. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, not including Grant. So he's gonna get an obstacle bonus here. Okay, look at the placement. Look at how much room he doesn't have to land here. So he has to because I'm assuming it's a double up X or a one-hander with the left hand. He has to finish and then kind of pull himself off the rim too. Unless he's gonna finish and hang and then swing off. It's risky business, risky. I assume he's gonna, it's a short run up too. I feel like that's short. That's so scary. What a bail without landing on them. I'm glad he didn't land on them. All right, we have number 10 here. He was holding his nose. Something about these pushes with all these people. If you mega push and even bail, we've seen Isaiah do this before, but you push and it pushes everybody forward and then your nose will hit the guy in front of you. Oh, he missed. He clipped the guy at the front too. Just skimmed him and he missed. Oh, he needed that make. He needed that. So this is what, like third try? Yeah, it's dangerous. It is dangerous in this case if somebody's gonna push hard. Oh, he clipped him harder this time. Oh man, that poor guy in the front. Okay, different ball. Maybe that'll change things up. Yeah, and what sucks is like he might have had a different plan going into this contest. And he feels pressured, like everyone feels pressured to do the push-offs because that's what's working. And in this case, what's working is jumping over a lot of people. And maybe part of his contest was maybe just to push off over 2 people, but now he's pressured to like, I gotta do it over 5 people, 6 people. And that's risky, that's risky. Here we go. Hey. Okay, we rattled it in. The guy in the front still helps him up and he got clipped. He got clipped, so it didn't look good. It didn't look great. I think he's hurting too. I don't know on his landing if it hurt or something. It's tough. It's tough. He got it down. He got it down. Let's say that's a third try. Ooh, that landing. All right. Height was there. I'm gonna give him a 1.5 for the height. Style, I'm giving him a 2. I'm sticking with the 2. And then the finish was a bit, yeah, he rattles it in. So I'm gonna give him a 1.5. Now, when we go to complexity, just like before, we add the pump, which is 12 points. And then we also add the multiplier of having an obstacle. And it's also a reverse, so 16.8. Pretty good, honestly, for the complexity there. And then that was third try, so that gives him a total of 31.8. Docked 5 points for third try. 31.8. So that is the end of the second round. And then we're gonna see, these are the 4 that advance. So we have Chen, Isaiah, Jordan, and number 10. What our scores are, Chen is killing it at number 1. Isaiah is number 2. So Chen with the push-offs, he is still dominating. Chen is he's still doing well. And here, yeah, he's got the highest score. Wow. Isaiah, 102. Number 4 with 91. What did he do? He did the double up X. Yeah, he executed that one well. And number 1 with a 90.8. Now, I think what carries over was number 1's East Bay. At the very beginning, the lob East Bay. And then the complexity of his last dunk as well helped him carry over to get 90. Pretty wild though, that beats out Jordan. Not by much at all. Just by like a 1 point difference. And I think what happens is Jordan's Tetris being second try hurt a lot. I don't know where to add more points to a Tetris, and I think that's what the issue is here. But in this case, Jordan wouldn't have made it to the finals, which is very, very, very interesting, and I bet you highly controversial. And yeah, I could have easily done something wrong in the scoring here. Number 10 was close with 86, Dan Gross 57, and Jay Clark at 56. These guys were super close, but it was close for the bottom, these guys right here. This was relatively close. So I'm just trying to think about it. I'm just trying to think of these scores here and see if it would make sense. I don't know. I think at the end of the day, I think, yeah, Jordan Kilganon with his scoop, he missed it a lot. So third try, that takes away 5 points, which, you know, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. If Jordan were to make that dunk first try, it would be very different. His score would be like through the roof, because the 360 scoop would have scored super high compared to his push-off windmill elbow. But even if the push-off elbow, let's say he did the windmill elbow, let's say he did that one first try. Let's go over here, first try, score of 60, and then we come to the scoreboard, and then he's way up here. He's gonna be way up here. So we'll go back to third try. That East Bay, that number 1 did pushed him to go forward, and he would have advanced just because of that East Bay. Or maybe just the complexity of that last dunk. So that's it. That's it. We're moving to the finals, and that will be part 2. So stay tuned and see who wins the contest and who wins this secondary WDA contest.